the major shift into becoming an adult, right?
Mhm.
You know, that's
Yep.
30 almost
That's when
signifies
yeah.
real adult.
Yeah, that's when I became a parent, yes.
Yeah.
So,
So
yes, big change.
that was your first Saturn return. When we get to the second Saturn return, it's another one of those next level up moments. It's all right, what did you do with the last 30 or so years and how have you grown from it?
Okay.
So you'll be getting that happening over the next 2 years. So it's going to be a signal for major life shift. And I think that lines up perfectly with, you know, plans for retirement and moving into, you know, the next phase.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
Hi,
hey,
Anita.
Anita, how you doing? I love it. She's always like right there
I know.
when we start.
Awesome.
So today is going to be just a fun chat, everybody. We are just the two of us today. So if you've got anything,
my son might pop behind me and, you know, make faces or something, but
he's always fun.
he's actually reading to his
Hi,
fiance.
Rebecca.
He's reading Patient Zero by John Mayberry, because
Ooh.
she got the book and he says, I'll read it to you. So he's been sort of narrating it to her. Isn't that romantic? Well, not the book, but the fact that he's reading to her each night.
That's cute.
So,
That's really cute.
Yep.
Wow, we got everybody in here today. We got Regine, we got Joe, we got Rebecca, who's mad that I didn't specifically say hello, Rebecca. We got Anita.
Yes, we have all our favorite people.
That's right. That's right.
We're talking stars and
yeah,
planets and.
You brought it up last week, and I was like, "Oh, that is like perfect timing because we've got 3 major ends to retrogrades happening in like the next week-ish time span, and it's going to affect us differently."
Well, the last Mercury in retrograde, I wrote a lot. This time, I'm having issues writing in the evenings because I just want to relax after a long day at work, and so and my day job has been slow, so that's taken up brain power there. But shh, don't tell anybody I've been writing during those hours.
Say a word.
But when you don't have tasks on your task list to do, it's very hard to. And I'm really not into training. I don't need to watch training videos.
Oh no, those are never fun.
No, that's worse than pulling teeth. It's not that I don't want to grow my mind. I just don't want to grow my mind in insurance.
Oh God, that just sounds horrible.
So,
well, like I was saying, here, I'll pull the chart back up.
Yes, pull the chart. Here we go, people.
There we go. So this is just the basic chart of what's going on right now. So we've got Mars, like I was telling you, which just stationed direct on Thursday. So if anybody was feeling the weird time shifts that I was feeling on Thursday, I swear time was not working correctly on Thursday. That may have been why. And back in August, we got to go all the way back to August of last year, is when Mars came into Gemini. And when Mars does a retrograde, it actually spends almost 8 full months in a sign because it goes forward and then it stops and then it goes backwards and then it stops. That's where we're at now. And then it's going to go forward again. So it doesn't actually leave the sign until it's made all of those passes. And Mars represents our passion, our drive, our ability to get up and go and do the thing. So with Mars just kind of walking back and forth in a sign, your energy kind of feels that same way. It's like, all right, I know I should do the thing. I don't want to do the thing. I got to do the thing, but am I doing the thing the right way? I don't know. It's like, it's a lot of waffling energy.
It's so like me every morning getting up to exercise.
Oh, let me tell you, I did not want to go to the gym today. Oh, one of my gym buddies messaged me and I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to go. I hurt yesterday. We did a marathon workout yesterday. It's like, I don't want to go. I'm really tired. And I've got my puppy and my comfy warm bed. She's like, you need to get up and go. And I'm like, but the bed is so warm and comfy and the bed
I
doesn't judge
gotta do
me.
the thing. I gotta do the thing. I don't want to do the thing.
And she was like, well, you know what? The bed may not judge you, but you're going to judge yourself and you're going to feel guilty if you don't go. I'm like, God damn it. Damn it. Don't turn my inner demons against me. So I went.
Yes, waffles. Sorry.
Okay. It's a good way to recognize it. Okay. And you waffles.
Yes. Yes.
Mars waffles sounds disastrous.
Mhm.
Martian waffles. I think they'd be frozen. That is kind of the energy, though. And even though Mars has station direct, so we're no longer going backwards. And retrogrades, it's a visual thing. It's not actually the planet going backwards, but visually in the sky, it appears to go backwards. When it stations direct, it stopped going backwards. That doesn't mean it's jamming forward again. And in fact, Mars won't even get past 9 degrees, or it's currently at 8 degrees right now, until the end of January. It's kind of like got to rev its engines to start moving forward again. So even though we're no longer going backwards, we still don't have the get up and go, but we're maybe more direct now with our thoughts or ideas of what we need to do. We just don't have the energy yet to implement them. And that can also be attributed to the other bad boy over here, Mercury, who is actually the ruler of Gemini. So Mars is in Mercury's house and Mercury's going backwards. So he's not a really good host right now. That will change next week on the 18th when Mercury will station direct. So Mercury will stop moving backwards and start moving forward again. We might see a little bit more forward momentum at that point. Again, the ideas and the drive and all of that, those are linked to these two planets. Those are like the archetypal natures of these two planets. So if you've been feeling a lot of, oh, I don't know what to do, I don't have the energy to do it, hopefully when these two both start, moving forward again, you get a little of that energy back. What is Regine saying? That was evil. You should be able to silence guilt with puppy snuggles. I agree. I totally agree.
Agreed.
First we had blue waffles, now we have red waffles. Now Mars has engines. We're talking in metaphors, damn it.
The next story, okay? And she has green hair too. So anyway, go on.
Wait, what? What? Hold on a second. Green hair?
She has green hair too.
Hey, I like green hair. That's a good color.
Yes. This is all just fodder for our story.
There we go. Well, and there's one other one that, again, within this week time span, we get 3 major retrograde shifts. So Mars already stationed. Mercury's about to station on the 18th. And on the 22nd, we get the planet of chaos, which is Uranus, finally stationing direct as well. And that one can be seen as kind of a double-edged sword, because when a planet is retrograde, a lot of times it's revision energy. It's rethinking, kind of turning inward and figuring out the right path before we go forward again. But when you've got the planet of chaos going retrograde, a lot of that internal chaos is now happening in your mind. And now it's going to go forward. So we get the outside expression of that chaos starting up again. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I've internalized long enough.
Let's make some shit happen.
Start killing people in my stories again.
You kept it mostly out of good job. Good job, Rebecca.
Yes.
So yeah, in the span of a week, we have a lot of planets that can influence us shifting gears and moving a new direction. So potentially, yay, good energy, new things happening. Also potentially, we see the chaos now as we implement new ideas and see what happens. It's that I love the fuck around and find out. It's such a great phrase.
Yes.
Let's see what's going to happen. Now, as on a broader scale too, you want to talk about fuck around and find out. On a broader scale, we have major shifts with some of the outer planets. Saturn, who has been in his home sign, and Saturn, because he rules 2 signs that are next to each other, we get 2.5 years per each sign. We got like 6 years of Saturn at home, at full power, in their domiciles, just reigning supreme. And now we get Saturn moving into a new sign in March where it doesn't rule. So he doesn't have as much power. So that could either be a good thing. We don't get as much of that overbearing parental Saturn energy weighing down on us. But now we've got Saturn in somebody else's house. So how does the overbearing parent act as a house guest? Let's see how that's going to play out. Hey, cool gamer. And on top of that, we also get Pluto, which is the planet of, I want to say, destructive transformation, because a lot of times to fix things, they have to break.
Mm-hmm.
And Pluto tends to bring on the transformation, but you got to break things down first before you get something new. Pluto is now moving out of Capricorn, where it's been for almost 20 years, into Aquarius. And it's going to be doing like a tiptoe over the next couple of years because of its retrograde cycle. So it's going to dip its foot in and take it back out. It's doing the hokey pokey over the next couple of years before it firmly seats into Aquarius and spends the next 20 or so odd years in there. So that could be really, really interesting, seeing that shift. And then we've got Jupiter, which is our greater benefic, speed running through Aries into Taurus, where it's going to spend the rest of the year in Taurus. So we get a major shift with the Jupiter energy, that possibly lucky, again, I fuck around and find out. I'll give you what you want, but let's see what you do with it, is what Jupiter does. So it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. So it's going to be interesting from March onward, when all of these shifts happen, like what the vibe is going to feel like. Because we've gotten used to, the oppressive power of Saturn sitting in its home signs for the last 6 years. We've gotten pretty used to Pluto screwing around in Capricorn. Now we're getting these major shifts, and I want to see what happens. Because when it's outer planets, it's usually society at large rather than personal planets that gets affected. So we see major shifts in things like political issues changing. Possibly new ways of doing things. There's always the wars that are going on out there. There could be major shifts in how those wars end up playing out. We'll see. But yeah, this year is going to be an interesting one, and not so much as personally influencing as like society influencing, because of the major planets doing it.
Cool.
So I'm interested to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah. Yep.
The other thing that's changing this year is the nodes are shifting. So for the last 18 months, we've had the nodes focusing on the houses of Scorpio and Taurus. So wherever those are in your birth chart, that's where you're getting the biggest effect. For me, it's like 1st and 7th house. So it's self versus others. For you, I think it was 11th house versus 6th. No, sorry, yours was 4th and 10th. So it's like home versus career is where the focus has been. So we're getting the closing eclipses on those, and then we're going to be shifting into Aries and Libra. So that's going to bring a whole new focus out personally for people, which could be refreshing. Could be scary. We'll see. I'm kind of done with the 1st house, 7th house focus. I'm done with that. I don't need to work on myself anymore. I'm about to become an evil villain. I've had enough character development. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Before construction, you have everyone's spirit. Yeah. And then that's kind of what Pluto embodies. It deals with, taboos. It deals with power structure, the opposition of power structures, and breaking things down in order to transform into something new. But the breaking down phase is the scary part of Pluto, because what is it smashing through? And if you look at the archetypal nature of Aquarius, it's a Saturn-ruled sign. It is known for being quirky because it kind of has to think outside of the box in order to do things. So you've got Saturn is play by the rules, the overbearing parent type energy. And in Capricorn, Saturn gets shit done, like very structured, very ordered. In Aquarius, it thinks outside the box to try and skirt that. So if you've got Pluto out there, instead of working with, the actual systems it has been in Capricorn, you get a lot of weird ways of maybe fixing things that may or may not work. You get some like sweeping changes to, what is the status quo that again may or may not work. Who knows?
Mhm.
But it brings about a lot of change, and however that's going to play out. Capricorn gets shit done regardless. Capricorn is like the Saturn ruled sign. It's an earth sign, so it's fixed, it's material. It's not fixed, it's cardinal. But it's very much deals with the material world and the things that you can see and hold and touch, which is why it's very structured and ordered.
Yeah.
And when Saturn, which controls, the time cycles and the order of things, rules that, you get someone who gets shit done. Capricorns are kind of known for that.
Mhm.
Until we're done doing shit. And then you make your nice comfy burrow. Yeah.
And
But you do the shit
Cancer,
first.
I'm a Gemini Cancer type.
Should we pull up your chart? Should we take a look at yours?
Sure.
All right.
Go for it.
Let's see what we've got here for you.
It always looks so messy when you do that.
Yeah, the bi-wheel makes it fun to look at.
Yes. But that's okay.
Yeah, so you've got a 12th house sun. So you're above the horizon. So Saturn and Jupiter are your friends. Mars and Venus are they don't necessarily play for your team. They're still a malefic and a benefic, but they are not as in control for you, whereas Saturn and Jupiter tend to be more on your side. It was like I was saying before we went live. When you have Saturn and Jupiter as the parental figures, you get the fun parent and you get the strict parent. If they're on your team, it's kind of like being an adult. You understand why your parents did the things they did, versus when they're not playing for your team and you're like that whiny teenager is like, why are you doing that? You're so mean. That's the kind of energy shift you get between the day and night charts with those.
Yes. I like.
Why is being so complicated? Everybody's complicated. Everybody.
You should see the mine with my husband's overlaid. We're opposites. We're literal opposites. It blew Katie away.
I love it. You guys like match up perfectly because you guys you fill in the opposition for each other. It's nice.
Yes.
It's not a bad thing. So for you, like I was saying before, that Gemini, Mars stuck in Gemini energy, that's in your 11th house. So that's all about the friends and benefactors that kind of can either help or hinder you out in society. It's your social standing. So if that has felt stagnant since, I wouldn't say since August, because it did enter in August, but it didn't go retrograde until October 30th. So October 30th would have been when you started feeling that, why isn't this doing what it's supposed to do? Because before that, Mars was moving as it should be through the sign. And then it's been in retrograde.
Yeah, as far as the writing world, up until January, it just felt sluggish. And January, I'm starting to see stuff, and I have no idea what I'm doing differently.
Light bulb moments.
Hey. Who knows? He matches their Audi. Yes, it is always nice that way. It's much more comfortable that way.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah.
So you were saying.
So yeah, Mercury, which is down here in your 6th house. 6th house is the daily drudgery. It's the stuff we have to do, not the stuff we want to do. So unlike the career house, which is 10, it can still tie into career because it is the daily stuff we have to do, but it's not what you're known for. So anything that you have to get done during the day, anybody that you have to manage, so some subservient people underneath you are also included in that. Your mental health and your physical health are tied to it because you work yourself to death. What happens? So the Mercury retrograde's been sitting there just kind of playing havoc with your daily stuff. It's also Mercury rules Gemini. So it's tying into that Martian energy too of shit's just kind of not working the way I want it to, because if Mars is a house guest in Gemini in Mercury's house and Mercury's not in a great mood to be able to play good host, you don't get the best visiting experience. So hopefully by next week, when it goes direct, there's a little bit more clarity, a little bit more direction going forward.
I hope so.
Why is Jane blushing? Because you're making jokes, Rebecca.
Yes. I'm thinking about the story I'm writing, great. Which, you know,
When you work yourself to death, what usually happens is you are dead.
yes.
That is true. That is
But
true.
I come back alive all the time. Don't you know that? Haven't you read my shit?
Yeah, Jane's good at resurrecting. Are you kidding me? So another fun feature of your chart specifically is you're about to have another Saturn return. So we talked about it before. The first Saturn return generally happens between 28, 29, and 30. It's like the initiation to adulthood. You've had enough life experience, you've made enough mistakes that now you can be considered like a real adult. And a lot of people do change or do have those aha moments around that 28, 29, 30 range. And that's usually the first Saturn return. The
And
second
mine
Saturn
was
return,
having my daughter. Yeah. Yeah.
very similar for the second Saturn return. You've now had another 30 some odd years. What have you learned? How have you grown? How can you use this going forward? So it's another kind of aha moment, another shift, which it's going to be Saturn takes about 2 to 2.5 years to get through a sign. So within the next 2 to 2.5 years, you're going to be doing some kind of a life change, which does tie really nicely with retirement. And it's happening in the house of, shared resources, the 8th house, which deals with the resources that we don't personally create. So it could be, shared spousal resources. It can deal with taxes. It can deal with inheritance. It can deal with investments, all that kind of stuff that isn't a direct creation of us, but we still use. So again, that whole retirement vibe is definitely kind of like perking up there.
It's a huge life change, just like having kids was, we're getting to that point, and yeah, you're right. It's coming.
Watching out for the beheading sword. And then the other thing is the nodes shifting. So right now, the nodes have been sitting in that 4th and 10th house axis. As they're getting closer, they're going to move in to Aries, which is going to be your 9th house. That's the house of our outward expansion. So travel, spirituality, anything that expands your mind or your horizons. That's a good thing. The south node portion of it is going to be sitting in your house of communications, your people that you deal with on a regular basis, your small communities, and immediate communication. So you're going to be shifting focus from home and work to how you communicate and get out more in the world. Again, it really plays well with that theme of retiring and changing what you do,
and having fun and
and it's an 18-month cycle for each of these node shifts. So we're in a year of transition. We're transitioning out of the Taurus Scorpio nodes into the Aries and Libra. So overlapping energies there.
Yeah, you can't see it, but Klaus is here. Hey, Klaus. Sorry, he just came out of the bedroom and came running up to me and just is like standing there looking at me like I'm supposed to do something.
And the other big thing I was mentioning too is Venus is going to be having her retrograde this year. And she retrogrades roughly every 9 months or so. Last time she retrograded, it was in Capricorn. This time she's retrograding in Leo, which is your first house. Anything that deals with the first house becomes very personal because the first house is the self. So it's Venus is our values, what makes life worth living. It's retrograding in that first house. And it's also going to be tying in with Jupiter that's going to be speed running all the way through Aries. It's like 3 degrees right now. And in like 4 months, it's going to make its way into Taurus, which is crazy because Jupiter generally takes a year per sign. So it's speed running through, and about, I want to say end of March, beginning of April, it's going to be moving into Taurus, which is Venus's house. So you're going to have Venus retrograding in the first house, connecting to, in a square, to Taurus in your 10th house. So that's kind of pointing to a value shift or rethinking, revision energy. That's the retrogrades usually are. It's revising what we do because we go over the same spot 3 times. And that value judgment could be tied to Jupiter and what Jupiter's bringing into Taurus. So that could be a
Yeah,
really interesting dynamic change. You've also got Uranus is going to be there for a little bit longer. So you've got the chaos energy there. So you could be looking at some interesting shifts happening when you get that square, which could be
true.
really fun.
It could be.
Could be.
I mean, especially with everything going on this year for us. You know, the trips, the weddings, the the fun.
Now, when is the wedding happening?
September 21st.
Oh, so you got a long time to go for that.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's after the March cruise and the July cruise and my niece's wedding in August.
When is the March cruise happening?
Uh, March 4th
Okay.
to 7th.
Well, that should be right before Saturn and Pluto both make their moves because they make their
Right.
moves 2 weeks apart. And I think it was middle to end of March when that happens.
Yeah, and at the end of the March, we're watching the kids in Connecticut, so we're watching the grandchildren in Connecticut.
That should be fun.
Yes. Oh yeah, my calendar this year looks awful.
And this from the person who was like, I'm not going to plan anything this year. We're just going to wing it.
Well, yeah. Well, writing wise, I'm
Okay.
not planning
Okay.
anything.
Right.
I have the October one, which I'm writing right now. I'm actually writing Fae, so it'll be my first foray into Fae. So I've got that, and then everything else is just there. I'll write a Christmas story because I started it this year, and I know I need to finish it before December. So
Gotta
I
keep
have
it
a
going.
third one in the Silent Night characters series. So yeah, I'm like, those are the only two things I have that are absolutes. Because as I
Everything
said,
else.
I have all of this other stuff and I don't want the pressure. So it's very different than all the other years.
I think that's probably a good thing.
Hmm.
We will have to check in with you when that Venus retrograde happens. That's summertime when that happens.
Okay.
And see what value shifts are happening. Because I think that with it being both benefics,
Mm-hmm.
it should be a positive thing. And even though Jupiter can be kind of a I'll throw whatever, you want at you and see what you do with it.
Mm-hmm.
With Venus there, and Venus is the ruler of the sign that Jupiter will be in. I think it's going to be a positive value shift. It's going to be, seeing what you really do want.
Yeah. In July is the Alaskan cruise, the land and sea cruise. So yes, that's 2 weeks in July. And then the
That could be
third
really
week
good.
is the week of my birthday that I'm just, gonna take because I never work on my birthday ever. So I'm
I
like,
keep saying that, but I always end
that's
up doing
three
something on my
three
birthday.
weeks out of the day job. I told my boss that this week. I'm like, when you're doing planning, make sure you have July. I told her, she said, yeah, I got to do that. Resource planning is always fun. Not.
But you're good at that kind of stuff, though. You've
I
had to
hate it.
be.
I hate it. I'm like, well, yeah.
It's a lot of cruising for no planning. Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. That's why I'm not planning any books. Because
Go and enjoy. Go and have fun. Nothing wrong with that.
2023 is the year of fun.
I'm behind you on that one.
Yeah.
That's right. She's gonna cruise through the year. I like that.
Probably. And as I was joking with Katie last week, I will probably write more this year than I have in all the other years because it's
Sometimes
not
when you
planned.
take the pressure off,
Maybe
that
not.
happens.
Maybe not, because I have a tendency to need that pressure of dates. But maybe not. Maybe I'm just trying to break that mold.
Well, see what happens.
Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens. Yes.
I mean, you have stuff that you want to write, so it's not like you're
Yes.
in any kind of lack of material. It's
Right,
just
exactly.
not as much of a deadline orientation this year.
Yeah. So I'm like, waffling between stories, a little here, a little there, a little dabble here, a little there. And it's like, okay, but the one from October now has my attention. So even with the dabbling,
It's
it is
interesting.
a little bit here, a little bit there, but that one was the one that captured the characters, captured my attention.
That's funny because remember I said Mars retrograde started in October, and now that it's moving forward, now it's got your attention.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Tempted to send me a box of dates. I don't eat dates.
That's funny. Can't say no to silly. I like silly. So yeah, depending on, for anybody else who's watching, where those specific signs fall in your chart could be a clue to how this energy is playing out for you. I know for me, the Mars retrograde's been in my 8th house, which is the house of shared resources. And I've experienced a lot of struggles with resources lately, whether they be monetary resources or
time or people
contracts coming in for work, that kind of stuff. And this Mercury retrograde's happening in my 3rd house, which is the communication house and the day-to-day people you talk to. And it's like, yeah, trying to get ideas across. Don't think I'm doing it correctly. And it's definitely been affecting my resources because a lot of the communication is with my bosses, so to speak, or the people that I work with on the jobs that I've been working on. And I feel like I'm saying stuff and they're just not hearing it. It's really kind of annoying.
Yes. I mean, at least I recognized in my day job when I was getting annoyed because I was being asked questions that I didn't know the answers to. And the number one way to get me annoyed is ask me questions that I don't know the answers to because I do not like not knowing the answer. And I do get a little less than professional.
Yeah.
In my attitude, I get majoritude, and I recognized it as I was feeling it, and I'm like, oh, you're not mad at them. You're mad because you don't know the answer and you don't know where to send them.
They have pointed out the chink in your armor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that was kind of an eye-opening thing. And I was like, I was getting more irritated and more irritated and more irritated. And then I'm like, why? That self-reflection, step back, that whole Mercury retrograde type thing of, revise and restructure. It's like, oh, okay, learn something new about yourself.
I've been guilty of that too in this last week where I was just, I typed out an email and then I read it and I was like, oh, you're being mean. Don't say that. There's a better way to word this because otherwise you are going to get people angry at you. And then I either didn't send the message and just went, I'll deal with it later. Or I've revised it completely to try and sound as pleasant as possible while still hopefully getting my message across. Yeah. It's been annoying. Very, very annoying.
2045. There you go. Light years. See, I can bullshit that one away. I can bullshit some of the other things.
But props for the Monty Python question. That was good.
Yes. But yeah, so I can see where some of the things were impacting, especially towards the end of the year and things like that. So
yeah, it's been an interesting, I want to say 8 months because seriously, since Mars went into Gemini for me, I've noticed just struggles with things that really shouldn't have been struggling with. And I will be very happy to no longer have to worry about those. Just move past them. Just get out of this zone. And that's the other side too, is when it's stuck in the sign and Mercury, Mars, is your drive and your passion to get stuff done, and it's just stuck in the same spot for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Am I ever going to get past this? Am I ever going to get out of this? Is there something beyond the horizon? You just can't see it. It's annoying.
Mm.
And I know I've felt that just probably about last, half a year or so. It's just like, okay, I feel stuck. I don't know a way to move past this, a way to, grow my business and be able
Mm-hmm.
to, make more money without working myself stupid or, just whatever. So I'm hoping
Yes.
that starts to ease up. But like I said, Mars is moving slowly.
Yes.
Even now, it's the 14th. It's not getting out of that 8 or 9 degrees until the end of January. So we still got 2 more weeks of just slogging through the mud, pretty
Sluggish
much.
stuff. Yeah, sluggish
Yeah,
stuff.
that's what it feels like. It's like, okay, I see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't know how the hell I'm going to reach that.
It will
Is
be
that a light or is that an oncoming train ready to hit me? I can't
outside of
tell.
Thursday's time warp thing. Time has been going by so fast too. The days seem long, but when you blink and it's like it's already Saturday. It's like
Yeah.
holy crap. The time passage is just astronomical. But going through it, it's like, as you say, slugging through the mud. I mean, sludge.
Feels like I know, and on
Yes.
Thursday too, I swear to God, time was not moving like it's supposed to. And I was doing sprints, solo sprints, and I
Mhm,
would set 30-minute timer. And I
mhm,
looked at the clock. I'm okay, 12:30, 30-minute timer, 1 o'clock by the time it's done. No, it's 1:40 when I look at the clock again. I'm like, how is it 1:40 now?
mm. Well,
Like
you got lost in the sprint. You
I
got
just,
lost in the writing.
but I could
When
have
when
sworn
you
it's
get
like,
it, yeah, when you get in the writing zone, time morphs. It
it's just,
absolutely does.
but it's so annoying when I'm like, I could have gotten more done, and I felt like I had more time, and I looked down, I'm like, nope, I gotta go get the kids soon. Crap.
Mm. Mhm.
But I was getting little instances of that, like all day Thursday. Time was just playing with me, I swear.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I was doing spreadsheet stuff that is out of my wheelhouse, but but it was better than trading videos.
Yeah, that is, oh, just
Yes.
no.
Yeah, it's
That does
like,
not sound like a good use of the day.
well, that's what they say. They said, enjoy the downtime, do some training. And I'm like, I'd
That's an
rather have my
oxymoron.
teeth pulled out. Here, come do it.
Oh.
Maybe you'll enjoy my pain. It's about the same thing. But oh yes. And I know a bunch of people were doing stuff that they had to catch up on. Thankfully, I did that lot. I procrastinate a hell of a lot of stuff. But when something comes across my desk that I have to get done, either writing or at work, I get it done then.
Yeah.
Right then, because then I don't have to think about it. It doesn't haunt me in the back of my head. Oh, you have to do this. You have to do this. And just, it's like that little squirrel that takes away from whatever concentration. So yes. So I
Oh.
didn't have anything to really do, like a lot of the other people who just kept procrastinating and had all this buildup of,
But then it becomes your work too because nobody's doing whatever needs to get done and you're bored now, so
yeah. So I write.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good use of time though. I can approve of that.
exactly. And it's like, okay, I've gotten ahead of the curve.
One
And
good
I'm
thing
one of
that's
those
happened.
and I'm an annoying person that goes through all my emails. I don't have any outstanding emails because I can't have anything black in my little thing of white. Maybe that's the ADD part of me.
Do you have it set up so that new messages always stay on top?
Yes, but not unopened ones. So it's all by date and time.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Rebecca approves.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh,
I open them. Do I read them? That's a whole different story.
Do you have to read that?
Is it something I have to respond to? If the
Yeah.
first line doesn't catch me, I move on. It's just like a story. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Oh, yeah. So this, and that goes back to the deadlines. I've always had the deadlines, so I'm a little worried that I'm not going to produce.
Well, consider it a new challenge.
Yeah,
You know,
true.
you've been reliant on deadlines before. You don't have a lack of stuff you can be doing, and you know that when you're bored, you just resort to writing anyways. So
Mhm.
maybe you don't need the deadlines as much as you thought.
Oh,
DNF emails.
yes, yes. Yes, I do.
It's not that I don't finish emails, it's I read it and I go, I don't want to answer that right now.
As
And then
I
I put
said,
it,
I read the first line. If it captures my attention, you got me.
well, no, I'll read the whole thing and then I'll mark it as unread.
Good for you. I've learned just to skim.
But then the follow through, I forget to answer it because in my
Mm.
mind I've already answered it. And then I forget to answer it.
Yeah,
And then when
yeah.
I do get around to answering it, it's a quick answer,
When
not
somebody
the,
goes, "Did you see that email I sent?" I'm like, "What email?" Like, "Oh yeah, I saw it." Well, what? I have to respond.
yep.
Oops. Yeah.
I don't know. Playing dumb is always a good thing. Do you see that email? What email? Huh?
Well, sometimes, I mean, I get a lot of junk. Even at my day job, I get a
Mm-hmm.
ton of junk emails. So sometime if I'm going through and cleaning out, something gets put into the
Oops.
trash that probably shouldn't have because it was in the midst of all of this, you know,
Sure.
true junk mail from outside, external junk mail. Same with my emails, and I feel sorry for my cover artist because every now and then I'll go, "Did you send me something?" Especially if I'm waiting for it. Yes, and I'm like, "Did you send me something?" Because either, hopefully, you didn't because I didn't get anything. they're like, "I'm working on it." I'm like, "Okay, good, thank you." I just didn't want to make sure I missed it because I also have multiple email accounts
Mm-hmm.
on my phone, and I didn't realize when I sent something out from, yes. Yes, that would be good.
If you drink first, you can excuse yourself. I like that.
Yeah, but I do get concerned because sometimes if I've sent it from my Gmail, I usually look under my J Taylor 75 account, and then I'm like, did I miss something? And one day I was looking for stuff and I couldn't find it. I'm like, I know I saw it on my phone. No, it was in the other account.
Ah,
Oh shit.
yep.
So yeah, some of that flaky stuff is because I don't know which email account you're supposed to be sending stuff to. Oops.
The first question too, when somebody's like, "Oh, I'm going to send you something." What email? Which email are you
Yeah.
sending it to so I can look for it? Because yeah, just like
Exactly.
that, I have 5 or 6 emails that I check too.
My daughter has like 5 or 6, and now I'm not sure which one to send it to, so I send it to all. It's like, sorry, honey, you're getting it 6 times.
I guess that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
She's bound to get it in one of her
She said,
messages.
"Mom, send me the recipe in the email." I'm like, "Okay, you're gonna get it 16 times." But
I can
yes.
excuse that one though. That makes sense.
Mm. Yeah, because I've sent stuff, and she's like, "You haven't sent it," and I didn't realize it was an old address. It was the one that would come up when I type her name.
Ah,
Yes, this the autofill.
I hate when that happens. Yeah.
Yes.
And I haven't cleaned out my address book in forever, so I have a few of those that are the person's name is there and hopefully the right address comes up.
Mhm. Yeah. Uh, So the latest book, you know how I complained last week that the story I read had too much sex? Well, I think it seeped in.
Oh no.
I think it seeped into my head.
Oh wait, not oh no. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Because I'm finding that, yes, things are devolving.
Right.
So, yes, I'm having
Run
fun
with
with
that
it.
energy.
I will, but I'll probably end up going back and going, really, this was just a manifestation of the story I read.
Oh, but does it fit?
It doesn't move the story forward, but it's
But does it
fine.
fit?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Rebecca to say that's what she said.
Oh,
Because
yes.
if it works in the story, leave it in there.
Yeah, I think I have to tweak it because I'm just writing, and right now it's the first draft, and it's messy.
It's supposed to be messy.
But
We've talked
literally.
about that many times. First drafts are
Yes.
supposed to be a hot mess.
So, oh yeah, and I'm like, it always fits if you're determined enough. Yes, I might have to move some of the scenes around so it builds up. but yeah, I'm finding that I'm like, oh, okay, that's weaving into this.
But did you end up enjoying that story, even though it had?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
The overarching storyline was really good.
I knew Rebecca had a bunch of innuendos ready
Yes.
to fly.
Yes, the last scene I wrote was really messy.
I'm in the same boat with the story that I'm working on for the ghostwriting. It's a mess, and I'm trying to fix it.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm just trying to get this story out in some way that makes sense in my head.
Yeah.
It's in a shared world, so I have rules I have to follow, which I know in some cases I'm pushing those. So so it's like, okay, where am I going to poke a hole into the rules? So I've got to finish the book, read the rule set again, read the book that I've written, and make sure it aligns.
Okay.
I have a new kind of mate.
Oh.
Not fated mates, not true mate, not soul mate, but spirit mates.
Okay.
Yes. Because
All
I'm like,
right.
okay, going through all this, and oh yeah, this is going to be fun with this.
Fun. Okay. Well, and if it's got you excited and ready to write, that's always a good thing.
Yes, yes. As I said, this is the story that sort of captured, my brain and said, okay, this has possibilities.
Do not poke holes. That's how you end up with the pen.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Jane, you do like to expand your series out into multiple books, so maybe she does need some extra dependence through side characters. So poking holes could be a good thing.
I don't know if I will write another one in this world.
Okay.
It depends. It depends. When I'm done with it, maybe I'll say, well, I need to do a second one with these characters or side characters or something, but
Depends on how much you fall in love with them.
Exactly. Because there's a bunch of other authors writing in the world. So it's supernatural assassins.
Ooh.
League of Supernatural Assassins. So
I like it.
Yes.
Very cool.
Mine is the Witch Assassin.
Okay.
So yeah, that's coming out in October. But
Nice.
yeah, so the whole world is just yeah. I just have to see how I can flesh this out and make it work.
Yep, the growing pains of the first draft.
It might be a one and done on this one. We'll see.
Well, how much have you written so far on it?
17,000 words.
Okay, so you're still right at the start then.
Yeah, exactly. exactly.
Okay.
So I have to get through it and then do all the layers and make sure I'm within the rules. And I have asked the organizer the questions. If I do this, does that break the rules?
Mm. That's the hard part of writing in the shared world is
Yep.
making sure that you're aligning with the rules that have already been set and the boundaries you can't cross.
Right. I mean, she's read the first 4 chapters, which gets me into the Fae world from the core world. So she had some changes in the core world ones, but other than that, she loved it. So it's like, okay, that makes sense.
All right. Good, good. So other than
Yeah.
that, what else are you writing?
Angelborn, which is a spin-off of the Ryan family.
Okay.
So that's Lucifer's other daughter. So that'll be interesting. Yes. And if anybody has read Fire Cursed, that series, it spins off from there.
Nice.
Yep. So and that's one. And then I have the one that I have the whole outline for that I keep, writing a sentence here, a sentence there.
It's just not time for that one yet.
Yeah. Having the whole outline is kind of making it not really fun.
Oh, I get it. I get it because it
Yeah.
takes some of the fun out of it because the story is essentially
That
written.
that was supposed to be a trilogy, and I decided no, I'm just going to do one book and condense the thing, the outline that I had. And I pretty much had condensed it, but it's just like it's still not gripping me. And then I have our series, which I've got to get up on Google Docs.
Yeah, we're gonna have to schedule some time to go over that one and figure out what
Yeah,
we want to write and
right.
timelines and all that good stuff.
Yeah, as I said, I'm not making timelines this year, so we've got all year, sweetie.
We'll get to it when we get to it.
And then, I don't know. I'm just sort of, as I said, waffling on this too.
Well, like I said, wait till after next week and see if you feel a little different after, things are moving more forward. Maybe you'll
Yeah,
have
it's like, do I want vampires? Do I want fae? Do I want wolves? Do I want angels? I've got all of those covers waiting in the wings for and basic ideas for where I want to go with those. So it's just like, okay, which one do I want to do?
condensed but not gripping. Sounds like you need a bigger character.
The opening scene of that book is actually pretty badass. So yeah, that I was really, really pleased with. It's just okay. How do you make the badassery even more so?
Yeah, no, I get that. I've been stuck on book 5 of the Asset
Yeah,
series for how many years now?
yeah, I know.
I know what needs to be written. I can't drum up the energy and excitement to write it.
Hmm.
And I love
Yeah.
that series, which is the sad part. Like I want to finish it, but then again, I cannot force myself right now to finish it. And if I do, it would be subpar and it wouldn't do it justice.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
get it. I totally get having a story that is waiting to be written. It's just maybe not the time for it.
Right. Right. Or maybe I need to step back and go, okay, is this the right story arc?
Yeah.
I
Maybe changing
know
things
where I
up.
started. Yeah. Yes. We all are getting on our case about that, but hey.
I wish that was motivating too. Like it's I do want to finish it. I just
the
can't.
characters are the characters are not speaking to you right now. They've
Yeah.
gone on silent mode.
And like I said, if
And
I did just rush it and write something, it wouldn't be a good story. It
mhm,
wouldn't be the quality it should be.
mhm. Exactly. Exactly.
Nope.
No,
It's my
that's
baby.
hers. That's
That's
hers.
my baby.
Have you tossed up the cover concepts you're looking for?
I still need to, I think that's part of it. I need to get the cover ideas
Mhm.
more solidified in my mind and redone, but that's money. And so that's another one of those
Mhm.
limiting factors is, do I have the money to do all the covers?
Right, right. Yeah, I'm waiting for Cora to do the 10 or the compilation of a fractured now I can't speak a fractured fairy tale for me.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and she needed to think on it a little bit more because I said I wanted something stunning.
Mhm.
And I sort of gave her an idea. I said, but I'm not married to it. I just want something that is stunning. So she's taking a little bit more time on that. But she took a little time on this too. Hold on.
Oh, you got
Mm,
something for us.
yes, I do. I do.
Ooh.
I do. I do. This is,
I have seen that pop up on Facebook recently.
yep, yep. That's that. She did the games thriller series um,
That
books.
is nice. I like
So,
it.
I'm like, I want a symbol. I want like a bleeding heart and chains, because it's it's a really heavy story in that way, and there is a love story threaded through it, but it's really brutal. So, well, thank
Yeah,
you.
that is a really cool cover, and I have seen it pop up this last week
Mhm.
on Facebook, and I was like,
Yes.
"Ooh, ooh, it's
Yep.
striking. I like it."
Yep. That was for the hardcover, but I changed the series omnibus to that because I liked it much better. Like
Yeah.
it's dark enough. Once you see the cover, you're done. What?
Everybody approaches it differently. I
Yeah.
can't do covers before the book comes out, but then again, apparently what I want in covers isn't always the right idea either. 'Cause how many times have I recovered different books
Mhm.
and they ultimately end up looking on brand after like the third cover?
Mhm. Yeah, she also did the Steve Williams series cover for me, but I had her use what she used for Vengeance,
Okay.
that one because it's not a gun pointing at the audience. Because the one I had now or had before was that for the series one. Um, and I just liked it. So I'm like, yeah, let's use this one. So, rewriting the blurbs for all of these things has been like, stab me in the
Mhm.
eye.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
Blurbs.
and
Oh,
and and the editing of all of that, because I did that most of December was editing.
I remember you
Um,
saying that.
yeah, yeah. The Steve Williams series, I had to make it a bigger binding than I wanted because it was never going to fit in 7 by 10.
What'd you
No,
end up going with?
8.25 by 11
Okay.
because that's the next size up.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah. On Barnes and Noble, it's only on paperback in that size. I couldn't do that. They wouldn't do the hardcover for that size. But I'm
Oh.
like, yeah, I would have had to cut out another 100 pages to get it to 7 by 10. Yes, it was really nice. So that was the bummer. But I still cut out about 60 pages of the whole
Wow.
six. That's like 10 pages per book.
That's hard. That is
That
really
is,
hard.
that is, so it's a much tighter editing. And I found that a lot of because I did dual views in different chapters, and I found that the story still made sense without the killer's point of view.
Huh, okay.
For the most part, I left some in, but not the heavy amounts that I did. I left the ones in that coincided with the main characters.
But it keeps the mystery alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. Do I need this? No.
That's one of the hardest things to do, that whole kill your darlings.
Yep. And I have a document with all of the things in there.
Yes.
And the individual books still have them in it.
Okay.
So the series books, the series collection doesn't, but the individual books I didn't go back and pare down.
Well, good. So you still have the originals, but you also have
might.
special edition.
but not right now, because now I'm back into writing instead of just editing the crap out of things. But
Enjoy the writing part. Enjoy that.
Exactly. I have hardbound cover collection editions for all my series after I get the Fractured Fairy Tale one.
Nice.
So now my shelving is smaller. So this year I have like 30 books to give away.
Wow.
Because I'm like, I need shelf room for the Arcane series stuff. So let's make hardcover editions. And maybe people will buy them. So
those hardcovers are special, though.
Yes,
I love hardcovers.
And they look really good. They look really good. I wish I could have gotten them in the 6x9, but there was no way you can get, 4 to 6 books in a 6x9, 550 pages.
Yeah, you need the bigger book.
Unless you have really, really teeny tiny.
Sometimes bigger is better.
Yes, exactly. Isn't it always better though? There you go. I took Rebecca's.
There we go. Jesus Christ, it's an hour already. See, time is moving weird.
I know. It's just.
We just got started talking. How did an hour go by already?
I know. It's that time warp thing.
I swear. Time needs to start moving normal again, because I got work to do and I need more time to do it.
Yeah. I just in the normal job, I just want work to do. And in the nighttime, I just want my brain to switch over to writing and get in the groove again.
Isn't
it always better?
You say?
Yes. I will freely admit to that.
She wants it bigger. She just doesn't know how to fit it. Okay.
Yes. It's a little tight squeeze.
And on that note,
yes.
Oh, I love these little chats.
I know. I think we're off for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep, and then we have somebody on the 4th of February.
Goody.
It's been fun.
I love our little chats.
I do too.
And hopefully you got the chart reading was helpful, and you've got some positive things to look forward to. Some interesting March. March is going to be an interesting month. That's when a lot of things start shifting. So March through the summertime, pay attention, see what's going on, what shifts are happening. And I hope that Venus retrograde in your first house over the summer is a really good.
Yes, I hope it's a good transition.
Yeah. Again, it's revision energy, so it's changing something, and Venus is our values, so it's new prospects, new perspective on things. So possibly new directions forward, and that much closer to retirement.
Yes. Coming, people.
All right. Well, we are going to take off for the next 2 weeks, but we will see you guys back again soon. Thanks, everyone who hung out with us tonight. We love you.
Yes.
And now it's time to get back to writing. Until next time, guys.
Good night.